I've got 83 chapters of my Secretary Bird fanfiction ready to go.
That's what. There's one part where you're just like yanking it and the Secretary Bird just stomping on a snake. Oh, it's your snake, it turns out.
Don't tread on me.
People are into that.
Oh my God.
So
what is
we
happening?
wrote something beautiful in just a few seconds.
Oh my God.
Oh Lord. But they're a very pretty bird and with like beautiful long eyelashes, and it looks like they're wearing stockings. And I was like, I don't know that I like the name of this. Like
The Secretary Bird, yeah, it's misogynist.
what else do you call it though? Like what would you rename it?
I don't know, the stocking bird. Literally anything you could go with would probably be less.
Bird.
Yeah.
Bird.
Tall bird.
Tall bird.
Pretty bird.
Nondescript bird.
Pretty bird.
Whoa.
I think admin assistant bird.
Yeah.
There you go.
They prefer to be called
administrative assistant bird.
Yeah.
Administrative professional bird.
Why don't you, next week when you're in there, suggest a name change for your mascot?
We would like to call it the admin professional bird, please.
Admin professional bird.
Oh, I love it.
Custodial bird.
Should we do that? Like, should we get a list of all like poorly named animals and rename them with like woke names?
I think that might be part of our birds episode that we need to record.
Oh, I've already got such a list, like to the point that I thought this is a very exceedingly long list of birds
that you personally hate.
that I want to talk about personally for a variety of reasons.
I can't wait. I feel like I've got to catch up to you. Did you play anything good this week, Lex? Are you into the new Pokemon game?
No, I've heard that
Have you had time to do anything since you started a new IRL job?
I come home from work and I lie in bed for a few minutes. And I'm like, I'm going to watch The Office. And then I just fall asleep.
Crying. Oh.
Yeah.
That's like me. I fall asleep watching One Piece at like 11:30 when I finally finished cleaning up Legos and block toys and food out of the carpets.
My favorite time is when I was over at your house once and Fiona was like, don't sit there. And then she like looked around the room and was like, I actually don't know where you should sit.
It's dangerous. And we started potty training this week.
Oh,
Sunday, I was just like, you know what? Today, buddy, we're doing underwear.
This is the day.
Yeah. And he was like, okay, Dad. And so that's been our week. So we've had fewer accidents than I would have expected.
Hey, good job.
The ones that did happen were dramatic. Sorry if you're listening to this in the future, son, but think the elevator doors opening in The Shining, the blood falling out.
Is blood coming out? Is he okay?
No, it was a very big flow of urination that just like but otherwise relatively successful.
Good job, dude.
Yeah. Poops and peas are going in the toilet, which is where they want to be if you've ever read a potty training book.
Which is where they want to be.
Is that like you're trying to frame it as like you're sending them home to their natural environment?
Yeah, exactly. That's, I think, what they're going for is like, why should you do this here as opposed to in your diaper? Well, in the diaper, they can't make it home.
Oh.
Which is the toilet where they want to be. So it's been a messy week for me.
It's the circle of life.
We must return it to the earth.
It's kind of, all I can think of is all dogs go to heaven, like all poops and peas go to the toilet. There's a great movie in this.
Yeah, they need to go to the city water sanitation building. Be bleached and skimmed, and then recycled back to shower and drinking water.
That's a very popular school tour, is taking kids to the water sanitation plants. And let me tell you, they do not smell very good.
I would love to do that tour.
I am shocked.
That it doesn't smell good or that I want to go?
Both, really. It was a sarcastic shock, so it's both.
My oldest son also came up and gave me a nice big snuggle hug this week and then was like, Dad, you always stink.
Oh.
I was like, thanks, buddy. You know why? Because I get to take like one shower a week now, thanks to somebody. There's a reason I'm filthy, and it's you.
Oh. And kids just say like the most biting things.
Oh, it's so funny.
Even when they're trying to be polite to you, sometimes they're so brutal. Like I had a kid who came up to me who I haven't seen in a long time, and he just went, "You've lost like so much weight." And I was like, cool. And he's like, seriously, like it's crazy. And I was like, whoa, man, like relax.
Slow your roll.
That was like the second year of college for me.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Everyone's like, it looks like you've been doing coke all summer. I was like, thanks. Thanks for really encouraging me on what happened if I was like dying. I had a disease all summer, and you guys, y'all rolling in with these really sensitive comments.
Hey man, whatever that illness is, it's working for you.
Yeah, I did the Frank from It's Always Sunny route, and I ordered a tapeworm off the dark web. The tricky part is getting it up there.
You're supposed
you can't
to
swallow
why
it.
can't you swallow
It's a
it?
suppository because it'll die in your acidic stomach.
Hey, I learned something tonight.
Yeah, it's got to go. It's got to go suppository. Let's.
Why are you ordering so much food? I'm eating for two.
Dork Matters.
So that was one of my smoother transitions into our show. Welcome back. This is Dork Matters, the podcast by dorks. Wait, no, god damn it! Someday I'll get it right.
You nearly had it. That was nearly like a perfect.
Dork Matters, a dorky podcast for dorks. We're dorking out this week with Jason Mehmel. He's back with us this week. I'm your dad dork host, Ben Renkel, and rounding out our trio is our Ed Dorkator, Lexi Hunt.
Yo, how do you say? What do you do? What's good, world? I don't know.
That's cool. That's really cool. How do you do, fellow kids?
Hello, fellow youths. I'm down with the lingo. Insta.
Have you been skateboarding around your new school?
No, I've been trying to be as like up against the wall, like hiding from people as much as possible because there's so many young people and they all. Oh, wait, here's the wild thing about youths today. They can get away with wearing the exact same sweatpants every single day. There's so many pajama pants and no one says anything. They're just so cool with it. And I feel like it's such a, accepting of clothing, whatever you want to wear environment. And I love it. Good for you, youths. Good for you.
As I told Jason before you popped on, I am in a full Reebok sweatsuit right now.
Oh.
I am also a youth.
I am also
enjoying his youth.
If you were wearing Adidas slippers and socks, then you would be a complete youth.
I have Crocs and socks.
That may as well be it. You've done it.
I've got my slip-ons, my slides, as the kids say.
I got some fuzzy IKEA slippers.
Ooh.
They're Bjorgens.
I have Zelda socks.
The kids love Bjorgens and Zelda socks. Kids these days don't even know what Zelda is. You say Triforce, and they're like, try forcing me to do what? I will tell everyone.
Well done. Excellent. That was a good one.
Thank you. I just came up with that.
That was good. That was fast on your feet. I love it. It's because you're so comfortable.
Yeah. Jesus, my sweatsuit has made me better at being slightly humorous. We have Jason back this week because, as we promised, we are going to do what they call an actual play. I'll just give you a quick definition. Also called a live play. It's a genre of podcast. I said genre. I can't say genre.
Genre.
I can't say genre anymore.
It's my favorite genre.
An actual play is a genre. Genre was what I was going for. Genre. It's one of those words.
Genre.
Actual play is a type of podcast or web show in which people play tabletop role-playing games, either for a live audience or for a future audience recorded. That's what we're gonna do. Why not? Hubris.
Because it's gonna be fun.
It is gonna be fun. Lex has never played D&D before. I have not played in a long time, since before having children, and I miss it. And so we've brought in our resident Dungeons and Dragons master.
Ba-ba.
Thank you. There's a flourish
the
there.
Dungeon Daddy, Jason Mehmel.
Oh boy.
Yeah. People on podcasts love flourishes.
Exactly. And gestures,
Gesticulation is hot in podcasts.
Pregnant pauses.
So what are we doing tonight, Jay?
If...
Well, yeah, they also like it when we talk over each other.
Yeah, that's the best. That's going to happen a lot. Roll for confusion. So anyone who didn't tune in to the last episode, we discussed Dungeons and Dragons generally. We discussed like its benefits and its history and part of why it's so fun. We got into like a little bit of our own experiences and things like that, and then we rolled up characters, which is like the classic way to start Dungeons and Dragons. Is you roll some dice, you write down the numbers, you decide what those numbers feel like in terms of a character, like if they're really strong or if they're really smart or that kind of thing, and then you choose things like their racial ancestry and their occupation and all of these things, and out of all of these decisions, these characters coalesce. And so we did that. We came up with Ben came up with Chark, who's an orcish bard, and Lexi came up with Folka, who's a half-elf rogue. And then, in the spirit of my cat, who kept joining the podcast on my lap, we also have a cleric tabaxi, which is a cat person named Mucho.
So exciting!
And I think we even decided that their relationship was that I think they've all been like they all served in a military somewhere, but are a polycule.
They're a throuple.
Polyamorous.
Yeah, they're a throuple. Yeah.
Wait, that's not the same thing. It's a throuple, not necessarily poly.
Those military campaigns, those nights get long and those watches get cold.
Yeah, I mean, you cuddle up a few times and things happen. You share your thoughts, your dreams, your fears, your bed,
your foxhole.
Your foxhole. That sounds
very, very bad. Yeah.
Well, okay. I'm just gonna let that euphemism lay dormant for any of the listeners out there. Roll for perception on that one. Anyway, a couple of other things maybe even before we get started too is that I'm gonna jump into setting up a situation for these characters to walk through and experience and figure out. But even before we do, so one thing that's kind of maybe worth noting is that like we had a lot of fun making these characters, but we also based on the roles we made in the day, decided that these characters are in a relationship. And I think something that's been really positive that's happened in D&D lately is a way to make sure that the players never feel uncomfortable about the relationships that are happening in the game. And so with that, I'm going to do a very basic description of something that's a lot more complex called lines and veils. Veils are things that you as a player don't really want to experience. You don't mind if it happens in the game, but you don't really want it like in the scene kind of thing. And that can be like, there was one player who really didn't like anything involving cannibalism. So like zombies are okay, but they didn't want a scene in which the zombies were eating anybody, if that makes sense.
So we're kind of just throwing out our boundaries with each other, making some places for ourselves to feel safe and comfortable playing with each other. That is one of the greatest parts of moving ahead with D&D nowadays.
Yeah, mm-hmm. And then and then the other one, so that's like a veil, and then a line is like straight up. I don't want this to be in the game. Like I don't want this to be a thing that is part of our story, and that could be something like say cannibalism, or it could be I don't want like if there was a say particular kind of politics you didn't want to engage with, you could say that in this game, or a particular kind of like if you wanted the relationships in the game to not ever have a sexual component because you're not comfortable engaging with it. I'm not actually suggesting that for our game, but I think it's important for listeners to hear that these are like options that you can have so that if you're ever sitting down at a table and you're thinking to yourself like, I'm not super comfortable with the stuff that's going on in the game, that you have a choice.
Yeah. And you should feel comfortable with the people you're playing with to be able to say, hey, no, this isn't going the way I wanted to go. This isn't something I'm comfortable playing with.
Totally. Yeah.
And that agency is really important. I'll throw whatever I wanted to kind of avoid into our chat here, and we can, Jay can have that one. If you want to do the same, Lex.
Yeah, that'd be great. And in the spirit of privacy too, like I won't actually really disclose in our show what these are unless that's desired or unless you guys bring it up yourselves. And then the other thing that I mentioned, the only other safety thing to mention, again, very briefly, is what's called an X card. And so often, especially on video shows, but you can do this in person too, you can kind of like raise your arms like an X. And that's a way for you to signify quickly that where the scene is going right now is a place you don't want it to go. That's also really useful because there might be something that you didn't know was going to be a problem until you encountered it, you know? Yeah. So these are all just kind of safety tools. I'm actually like not too worried because I think of just the kind of conversations we've already had. I'm not too, like, I don't think stuff would be coming out of the blue that I'd want to introduce, but
no, I think it's worth discussing and sharing with people, especially since we're getting started and giving a framework for how people play. They should know that it is a game that can be engaged with in a way that does not need to make people feel uncomfortable. It's not anything goes. Like as a player, you have agency and the right to choose what happens. And if the people you're playing with don't respect that, then you nope the F out.
Mm-hmm.
You fly 2 middle fingers and just back out the door.
Or one of these.
Exactly.
Start with the X, but you can actually cross your arms in an X while giving the middle finger with both hands.
Or just the fingers.
You can cross the fingers into an X. We did it. We came up with the most amazing way to end a scene.
That no one will ever see.
Maybe my last word on that is that something like that I've been noticing listening to Critical Role. I've been kind of re-listening to it because I just feel like catching up on it. And is actually how gruesome a lot of the game is. Like the way the characters are, taking out the various monsters in all kinds of like brutal ways. There's kind of a point where you're like, I'm not bothered by it, but I can imagine that, like, I can imagine, say, my partner who doesn't exactly revel in violence, not like thinking like, yes, I want to go on an adventure, but I didn't really want to go on a gory adventure,
Yeah.
Yeah. This wasn't supposed to be like Dungeons and Dragons and Tarantino.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I think that it's just something that occurred to me, so I thought I'd bring it up.
I'm going to use the X during our podcast now too.
Excellent.
When Lex starts going in a direction I'm not okay with.
So every time that you make like a my wife statement, I'll be Mama.
It's not like I want to do it. It's just a necessity. Somebody has to.
It's a compulsion.
It's why I've started saying my partner or my spouse. Spouse is bad too, isn't it?
Significant other.
That doesn't sound right either. It's like saying
I like that one.
My lover.
Oh, no.
Like that SNL skit with like Will Ferrell from back in the day.
Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell?
Yeah, remember when he wore like the... Did I say his name wrong? What am I thinking of? What did I just do? I don't even know what
Ferrell
I did wrong.
is a musician.
Will Ferrell. Oh my God.
There you go.
Will Ferrell is their new project. They're dropping soon together. It's some spoken comedy over some really well-produced tracks.
Absolutely. I would listen to it.
There's no place to go but up. All right. Well, let's just throw into it so that we don't have to I don't know. Let's go. Jason,
let's do it.
Paint us a word picture.
Okay. Yes. Well, we're going to dive right in. Maybe what I'll do is I'll sort of set the scene a little, and then I'll let each of you introduce your character and kind of what they're thinking or feeling. And because this is sort of a shorter show, we're not going to be recording like what a normal most D&D games are 2, 3, 4 hours, And so this is more of a streamlined approach. So what I'll do is I'll set up the scene that will be leading us right into an adventurous situation, and then kind of cut to you guys. You guys can introduce yourselves. And then, we'll be running.
Sounds great.
So that we've got these 3 characters who are who have like lived together and fought together in various fantasy wars, and now with in this relative peacetime, they're looking for work, and in a lot of cases of this sort, the people turn to a life of adventure. What you've heard is a rumor that there's work, or that there's like there's a mystery that needs investigating in the town of Dawn Blossom Weirdle. And when you arrive, you find out that 2 messengers have not been returning from their jobs to visit this wizard's tower. And the wizard's tower is in kind of a more remote valley. So from the village, you need to climb up climb up through the foothills into the mountains to get to this wizard's tower. The wizard is Frederica of Dovehold, and these two messengers haven't returned, and after the second one didn't come back, it kind of went, well, okay, now we need another solution. We can't just keep throwing messengers up there, and so the town has asked for help, and you guys have heard that call, and now you're walking up the path through the foothills to make your way to Dovehold, and to see if you can find out what happened to these messengers. And so as you're tromping through here, it's a beautiful summery afternoon day. The sunlight is streaming at a nice angle, and as you're walking along, we kind of the camera pans across, and first we see Folka, the half elf rogue. Give us an impression of Folka.
Now, when you say impression, do you want me to be like?
Oh,
I think more like a visual.
Yeah, give us a description.
But if you want to do an impression, I think we'd all be very happy with that.
Yeah.
I'm Folka.
Does it have to be a real person for you to do an impression of them?
That's an interesting philosophical point.
Yeah. Can it be an impression if you've made this character up and no one else knows who they are or what they sound like?
That's a great point.
Here's my impression of Folka so far. That's a great point.
Folka not like.
Oh, is that how Folka talks?
No, I don't know what Folka talks like yet. Okay. Folka is a very large, tall, female-looking, what did I say? Wood elf?
Yeah.
Rogue? Yeah. Boom. There we go. With dark blue skin and red hair, much like the Marvel superhero Mystique, but without the bumpies. She likes a good pantsuit, but not like, I take that one back, not like, like Hillary Clinton would wear, but just like...
No, like a cool, 90s, like future punk.
Like a Jedi, like...
Oh, okay.
Like I'm thinking like kind of poofy pants that are like tucked into a boot, and then like a nice overcoat that with lots of like wrappings on it that she can hide knives and shit in.
So Hillary Clinton Jedi, but also Mystique.
Yes, Folka is a very large Hillary Clinton Mystique.
How old is Folka?
She is ageless.
Ageless. Oh,
ageless.
This is cool. So, Lexi, are you aware that in the sort of D&D universes, fair enough, the blue skin actually suggests that you are actually a dark elf?
Yes.
From the Undercity. Okay, so you are aware. You know some stuff.
But does she know that?
Well,
only you can answer that, Lexi.
Who can say?
Okay.
Yeah. She doesn't. She doesn't know that.
So now it's up to Jason to figure out how you've never learned what you are.
Perhaps she was adopted at birth.
Yeah.
She was found in a little ravine.
And nobody has seen the Dark Elves in ages. That's actually great.
Yeah, this is the thing, is that no one, like, you've been raised by Wood Elves. You have Wood Elf abilities because of the mystic environment that you were raised in. But no one knows that Dark Elves are a thing. And so you are kind of a mystery.
Mm-hmm. And much like the movie Elf, not to be, mistaken, the Christmas movie Elf.
It's very important to be clear about elves versus elves.
Elf with Will Ferrell. The movie.
Oh, it's already coming back to haunt me.
Nobody wants to say to Folka that she doesn't fit in. So for the longest time, it never occurred to her that she was different than the other folks in her community, other than she looked a little bit different. And so one day, Folka decided to go out on her own to learn a little bit more about why she's blue instead of like her adopted family.
Dabba-dee, dabba-doo. I'm blue.
She sang the immortal words as she trekked off and joined an army to find herself.
She found a necklace around her neck when she was born. She had a pendant with these strange words. I'm blue. Dabba-dee, dabba-die, dabba-doo.
Yeah, and you know what? That's Folka.
Sorry, so how tall is Folka, just out of
Let's say
curiosity?
6'8". 6
Okay.
feet 8 inches.
She big.
She a big girl.
She big. I like it. Or they big.
And in heels, she's a clean 7.
Oh, fantasy
Clean
heels are the
7.
best. In D&D, you can do things in heels that no one could do in real life.
This is true.
Like run, climb trees. Very excited for that.
Yeah. Murder a dragon.
With your enchanted dragon-killing heels. With your dragon stilettos.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
I
good.
like it. The double entendre of the stiletto dagger.
Mhm.
I love it.
Mhm.
The stilettos come out of your stilettos
So
where they're hidden.
So as Folka is humming "Bloody Bee, Bloody Blah," the camera keeps panning over, and we see Chark.
Chark is a pretty massive being as well. Chark is they, them. Chark has a completely clean shaven head, and just a ridiculous number of piercings in each ear and both nostrils, and then a few pieces of metal workings around their neck as well. They are more or less shirtless except for a tattered vest and a sort of unclean looking like blouse underneath with really puffy sleeves. Think Jerry Seinfeld from that one episode where his girlfriend tries to make him wear the pirate shirt. And, just the standard fantasy pants, the leather, whatever, boots and such. And then an assortment of instruments sort of strapped onto their back. And in their hands at the moment, they are following sort of a side by side with, Folka and our other friend here. And they're using their accordion and just playing a tune along with their friend who is singing, their partner.
Are you about to impersonate an accordion?
That's a squeeze. Is that like is a squeeze box?
Yeah, it's like a squeeze box accordion. It's not like a modern accordion. It's it's more of a simple accordion.
Could I make a suggestion?
Absolutely. That's how we have to play this. I love it that way, the collaborative approach to this stuff. We've already discovered that dark elves are unknown from our collaborative storytelling here. It's fun that way.
Could Chark play a hurdy-gurdy?
I have to Google what a hurdy-gurdy is.
Okay.
Going to Google. Jess?
Go on to Fantasy Google. While Chark discovers what a hurdy-gurdy is by accessing his magical wisdom.
I just want to say, it's an actual, pirate instrument.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I still have the, accordion push box thingy, but Chark is definitely playing a hurdy-gurdy.
Yeah.
This thing is cool as heck.
Nice. And so we come to the last of our heroes, and that's Mucho, the Tabaxi cleric. This is he's kind of think like a Friar Tuck, only a cat person. And he's got his head shaved, so he's got a bald head, tonsured head. And he is worshiping a war god. Bush. It's a little on the nose. Bala.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Bala the lion-headed is the as a cat person, a lion-headed war god is kind of right up his alley.
Yeah. Balah.
Just Bala.
I will say that when I typed that into my notes, it just autocorrected to balls.
Yeah. Balls, the god of war. There's something there.
Also, a strong D&D tradition, which is the DM offering the wisdom and lore of the world, and the players immediately turning them into an euphemism.
Yeah. Naming things as a dungeon or game master is literally the worst. Doesn't matter how hard you try.
We spend so much time looking at these names and going what could the players turn that into? And we finally find something we think is impervious to euphemism, and bam, in seconds. It's just
Kyle Frittata.
Balls.
Tata. Next time I run a game, everyone's named Kyle.
It's like I was about to do a Monty Python segue, but we don't have that much time. I'll keep it in the game.
We all know, and it was funny.
But yes, so with that, we've got these 3 heroes who are tromping up through the foothills, and so anything. I will say here, Mucho is in a meditative mood. He's not going to be suggesting a lot of things, mainly to make sure that you guys have more agency in the game. But he's a part of the game. He's supporting you in the adventure. But yeah, so anything that you guys want to ask about or that you want to like say you're doing as you are moving towards the mountain pass. Any questions you want to ask, that kind of thing.
Start.
Okay.
At this point, the game has begun. So now, like, anything you want to choose to do or ask if you can do anything.
I think as Chark is walking along, they're just sort of thinking about what they're supposed to be doing, sort of in a repetitive way, as a forgetful person might. But while they're doing that, they're also kind of taking in the landscape and kind of keeping an eye out and seeing what's going on, seeing if there's any trouble within their near vicinity, while also being like, find the messengers, find the messengers, find the messengers, find them, find the messengers. Don't forget. It's got like little blue strings tied onto their hands, their fingers.
To remember.
Reminder strings. Yeah.
Yeah, Lexi, is there anything that you're thinking that Folka is doing or ready for, or any questions you want to ask?
I think that Folka would just be ever vigilant, looking around, just cautious of where they are, and getting very frustrated that her companions are walking so slowly through the grass, and why can't they move faster, and getting frustrated that she wants to move ahead faster, and also hoping that we could have a song from the hurdy-gurdy.
Maybe if I might offer, one thing that you could do, and in fact, maybe this was even something that you were doing in the military, is that you're scouting ahead. Maybe you are kind of like get ahead and take a look at things.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. Yes. Folka wants to do that.
Excellent. Well,
that's your new character catchphrase.
Yes, that.
Folka wants to do that. Do you have dice with you, Lexi?
No.
Okay, that's okay. I'll roll on your behalf then, if that's okay.
Okay, thank you.
But I'll be as honest as possible. So the reason I say this is because now that you say that you're going to be doing something and you kind of like something a bit more intentional than just walking, I'm going to actually roll some dice.
Okay.
So I'm going to have you sneaking ahead. So I'm going to find your stealth. Here we go. And so I'm going to roll a d20, which is like the core die of Dungeons & Dragons. And because you're so dexterous, and also because you've got this elven ancestry, you're particularly stealthy. You're particularly good at this. So you've got a +5 to whatever I roll. You're going to get a +5. And this is basically like what I'm rolling would be like if anybody was ahead of you, this is how stealthy you're being so that they can't hear you.
Ooh.
Oh dear. Okay. So what came up was a 3.
It's a bad day. Yeah.
So that comes up to an 8. I'll say that like you think you're trying to be stealthy, but like every 5th step or so, you keep finding the one loud stick that you step on and just cracks, And so you're making your way ahead through the grass and trees, and what you do find as you get a little further forward, you're about maybe halfway now between the town and the tower. You see up ahead, kind of like at the narrowest point of the pass before you start to get down into the valley of the tower, is a small cottage. There's like, and this is still quite a ways away, but you can see like that there's like a little garden. There's a scarecrow. The cottage is like maybe like a one room, shack, basically. It's at the moment, that's all you can kind of really see is this cottage and the garden.
So carefully, even though she's stepping on every twig and loud frog in the vicinity.
Crack,
ribbit.
Loud frog.
Folka cautiously approaches the shack, even though it is far away. Keeps dead ahead.
Yeah. I'm going to roll this again because this is now, you're now kind of in another phase. So there was the first phase that you went through before you saw the shack. And now you're like, it's kind of a different action because you've got a specific goal you're trying to be cautious towards, if that makes sense. So let's see what comes up out of this one. Okay, that's a little better. That's so I rolled a 9, and then with your benefit, that actually gets up to 14. So no sticks and frogs on this walk. You feel like you're being pretty stealthy.
Can we define a little something here very quickly?
Sure.
Is the frogs that are being stepped on are actually called flat frogs. They're indigenous to this mountain area. And they are colored the color of stone. It's part of a defense mechanism. And they make just an awful croak when stepped on. But they are super flat and they dart between rocks and kind of slide underneath them to keep cool.
Yeah, they're like every time you step on one, you thought it was a rock.
Interesting.
Okay. And yeah, it's very annoying.
So do we just keep going?
Well, so so then with what I rolled, it came to a 14, and so you're now making a much stealthier way. In fact, you're now like kind of like down among the grass, kind of like trying to keep really hidden until you get right up to the pathway and the across the pathway is the cottage. A lot closer now. You can see that the cottage seems like it's pretty unused. There's no, or at least not currently used. There's nobody moving around. The garden that's there is untended. The scarecrow looks maybe like a little fresh, but still like weather beaten and things like that.
It's just winking at you. Just a little fresh.
Wink. I like Ben's usage of the word wink.
Wink. It's onomatopoeia, bitches.
Yeah. So that's so currently you're in the grass.
Okay.
This is what you've seen so far. You could go into the cottage. You can also wait if you want for your compatriots.
I will say, Folka is very confused as to what's going on because up until now, it's been hard to move around. It's been loud. It seems like something's been drawing her towards this shack. And all of a sudden, the closer she gets, the easier it is to traverse. And so it seems like she's being drawn to this empty, dilapidated shack. So cautious, nervous to trudge forward, Folka's choosing to wait.
Okay.
Doesn't want to go in alone. She wants someone to watch her back here.
Smart. This is what kept you alive in the war. Great. Okay. Well then, yeah. So as you're kind of keeping camp there, you're waiting. Not that much longer, in about 10, 15 minutes or so, up along walks Mucho and Chark. You can hear the tune of his hurdy-gurdy bouncing off the mountain walls around you. And so Chark, you arrive with Mucho. You see this what the scene I've basically already described, and as you kind of get a little closer, Folka just sort of pops up out of the grass, surprises you.
Boo!
I drop my hurdy-gurdy, which makes a terrible, terrible clanging noise that reverberates off the rocks all around.
Mucho's tail gets really puffy.
Oh no!
Ooh, yes. Yeah.
Oh, Mucho, it's okay, pal. It's okay.
Sorry, Mucho.
Giving Mucho some pets.
Brown. I might actually not let Mucho speak English.
Okay.
He might only respond in
that would be even better.
cat sounds.
But we understand Mucho.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like Groot. Yeah.
Or Chewy. So yeah, okay. Lexi or Folka, is there anything that you want to kind of bring up or say or anything like that before?
In her very halting English, she points out to her companions, cabin.
Oh, so does Folka not speak common very well?
Yes. Or, you know what? She kind of chooses not to.
So Folka just speaks in broken common because they want to.
Yeah, like Kevin from The Office. She thinks it takes too much time and there's no point.
Oh,
Why
I like
use
that.
many word when short word do?
Yeah, I mean, it could be war efficient too. Why use a bunch of words?
Ooh,
Just say a couple.
maybe, yeah, like the like hand signs.
Yeah.
She's scouting ahead, so she's using like scout sign language.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like the
There you
SEAL
go.
team kind of thing. Yeah, totally cool. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so you've indicated in sign language that the cottage is spooky. um, yeah, is there anything that that Chark wants to do? Anything? I'm trying to see here if maybe Mucho's going to do anything.
I think Chark is going to pick up the hurdy-gurdy, place it on his back, and sort of maybe nonchalantly just sort of like it's an unused cabin and sort of just wander towards it.
Okay.
It's pretty clear no one's been here in a while, Folka. And he just sort of strides toward the front door to see if it's locked. Sorry, they.
So you get to the front door. As you get closer, it's actually kind of semi ajar. It's like it's not even fully closed. When you get inside, when you open the door rather, you can see that there's two cots and like a few like an urn or a bowl, like a washing basin kind of thing. And like a few basic like hardtack supplies and like winter supplies, that kind of thing. This is probably clearly people will like stop here on the way between if the weather's bad. And like the garden is probably tended in the harvest period for like a few extra like supplies that can be grown right here. And you can see that there's that the two cots do look a little more disturbed. So they have been used, and you do see a scroll on the table that's next to the wash basin.
Is there any sort of immediately evident, like we know who we're looking for? Would there be anything that we could see immediately that would suggest they were there, or just sort of the general use of the cabin?
I think just the general use of the cabin. There's no like nothing's been left there. Like when I say that, you can tell that the cot has been used literally because it's not as dusty as everything else.
Okay.
But that's about it, I think, in terms of things to note.
So Chark just fully pushes the door the rest of the way open and stomps in and starts poking about, starting, I guess, with the cots, because those are the first thing that they see.
So the two cots they've got basic like a sort of a like a leather cover and some stuffed mattresses stuffed with like other, like bits of cloth and things like that. They're not very comfortable, but they probably do on a winter night or a long hike. And you can see that they've both been disturbed in the sense that the covers have been pulled down. They've clearly had somebody sitting at them or sleeping on them within the last while. So that would kind of track to what you know about these missing messengers. And what else to mention? They both look used, which is the messengers weren't sent at the same time, like they weren't sent together. They were sent one at a time. And so that's kind of a...
Didn't use the same bed.
Yeah.
Used a different bed for luck. You don't want to use the same bed when you go through one of those mid-mountain cabins, waypoint houses. I guess at some point, the scroll's pretty out in the open, you said?
Yep. Yeah, the scroll's just sitting next to the...
I would just say Chark finds it, whips it open, and starts looking at it.
So what's on there is a message from the city council of the town asking that if Frederica can come down from her tower to do some every so often they'll have her come down for some like odd magical tasks, like helping repair a damaged building using her magic, or foretell the weather for the next year so that they can plan, that kind of thing. It's a common arrangement, but like generally you have to pester a wizard to come down and do things for you. And so this letter, this scroll is indicating that, like, Frederica, please come down. We would be honored by your presence. We will of course, reward you with treasures and riches and like all of these promises, and it's signed with a flourish by the mayor.
How plainly is it written, or is it written rather fancifully, like a lot of flowery language, pleasantries for a dignitary, or is it pretty basic? Don't think Chark reads great. I think Chark has some very basic reading skills, like we're talking like grade, I don't know, somewhere between 4 and 6. I think
that's still pretty good.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay, I want it to be like difficult reading,
like 2, grade 2.
Okay, grade 2 it is.
He's learned all of his music through the oral tradition.
Yeah, and can read music.
There you go.
And memorizes words, but doesn't read super great. Never has.
So I guess in answer to the question, there is definitely some stuff there that is like might be over your head or over your comprehension in terms of like things that it's going for. But it does seem like what does seem clear is that this is a message to the wizard from the town asking for help. It's a little trickier to maybe understand some of like the promises that are being made. Yeah,
but I know what this is. So they never took the note, or at least one of them. There's only one of these scrolls that he can that they can see, right?
Yeah. There's only one scroll there.
At least one of them never made it out of here with their message for Federica. Is what Chark sort of calls back over their shoulder.
Yeah.
To Mucho and Folka. And then they start looking around for any sort of signs of a struggle in the room that might have been a reason for a messenger to have not finished their job from this point.
So you don't see any disturbances inside the room. If anything, it's actually the only reason you could tell that the cots had been used is because everything else was so dusty. So it's actually been the lack of disturbance in the cottage is actually pretty noted.
Chark wanders outside, sort of, one hand up and down, tossing like a coin or something, the little scroll, and starts and looking around outside for anything that pops out, seems out of the ordinary, would suggest something other than what should have happened here. Like I don't know, some blood, disturbed earth, broken materials, or other things left behind in a hurry.
Sorry, so where were you looking for that stuff?
I step outside the cabin now and sort of I'm looking out front or around the sort of immediate perimeter of the door.
Okay. You don't see anything like particularly like disturbed or anything right out front of the cabin, but what you can actually see is that or just like going around the edge of the cabin, there is actually more scrape marks in the dirt, as though something heavy has been pulled along there.
Folka, Mucho, over here.
Wow.
Scratches, some drag marks. From the dirt.
So we've kind of moved around the cabin there. Lexi, is there anything that you want Folka to try to look for or ask about or anything like that?
So the garden's been untended, but does it look like anything, like any plants have been broken or any type of footprints or any disturbances to the grasses and natural environment around the house?
Around the house, there is actually a large pile of dirt behind the house. And that actually does look kind of fresh.
Okay, we're going there,
And there's also kind of scrape marks between the pile of dirt. So to kind of maybe visually say this is that the garden is next to the house, or the cottage. And there's no fence around the garden. So there's the mound of dirt behind the house is kind of like also near the garden, if that makes sense. And there's a mound of dirt, but then there's also kind of like less dirt as though it had been brought from the garden area.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to want to go check out that mound of dirt in a very cautious way. So Folka indicates to... Why do I keep wanting to call him Chalk? That's not his name. I'm sorry.
It's a pet name.
Chalk.
In our relationship. So you indicate that I should go take
Whole family, let's go. We're heading over towards the mound of dirt in a very cautious way, wanting to surround it. So she's indicating...
I need to know if you are using hand symbols.
Yes, we're using hand symbols. Clicking, pointing, surrounding the dirt.
So Chark walks up to the pile of dirt and just starts kicking it over.
Absolutely. Good job. Folka rolls her eyes and sighs with exasperation.
Checking it out. And he's just like a kid standing outside waiting for someone, just kicking the dirt as much as he can, trying to uncover it. No shovel or anything, just kicking the dirt, trying to open up that big pile and see what's inside.
All right. Well, so you're kicking around at the dirt, and as you're kicking along at the dirt, you start to realize that you're uncovering some kind of skin color thing, and then as the more you kick, you're starting to realize that it's actually a hand that you're seeing that's in the dirt.
We got somebody is here. Obviously, you can see the hand. Could be one of our messengers. And then Chark drops down and they start using their hands to sort of finish scooping away off of this person enough to find the face so that we can see if it's who we're looking for. I assume we know what they look like or some sort of symbol to identify them.
Yeah. Well, and each of them had like a small coin that was specifically stamped with the town logo, so that there's they can clearly say that they're coming from the town on official business.
Gotcha.
And so you're digging through. You're starting to kind of pull out these bodies that have been uncovered. And as you do, you can start to see that there's nasty wounds in their bodies. So like these rends of flesh across their chest. Like one has had his throat ripped open, and even more like savage, like really brutal attacks that have been on these bodies.
Oh, is it both of them there or just one?
Both of them. There's two bodies.
Sorry, I missed that.
No, that's okay. I think I might have sped past that part.
So we have found the messengers. Case closed. Another mystery solved by the trio del.
As Chark is patting himself on the back for this,
literally, like arm over the
literally. There's actually you feel an intense a wave of almost fear hit, like it just kind of washes over all of you, because you are now being attacked in a surprise round.
Oh no! Combat music.
Okay, so the one that is there's a swing, and I'll describe what's attacking you here in a moment. But there's a swing of a horrendous claw at Chark's back, but just as he bends down to investigate one of the dead bodies, it just happens to pass over top of him. But then there's another swing over at Folka, and this is armor class. So what I'm doing here is what's called in D&D is checking an attack versus an armor class. So that's to see if the attack rolled high enough to defeat the defenses of the character. And that is so that's a hit. Lexi, you've been hit by the claw of, and I'm about to describe it to you, of the scarecrow, but it has now been animated. It's now in this herky-jerky fashion.
I actually was expecting one of the bodies to be the scarecrow.
I kind of was expecting it too, yeah.
What were just these like extended arms have now like got these wooden claws, and one of them takes a swipe at Lexi, and that is
it's the flat frogs. They're controlling the scarecrow.
I never should have stepped on them.
This is revenge. Pre-revenge? They were dead before we got here.
So that is 5 points of damage, Lexi.
No.
Uh-oh. Oh, God.
And you've got 10 hit points. So now you have 5 hit points left. You've been halfway to death.
Holy God. Oh, my God.
It's a rough fight.
This
Never
is a
saw it
fight,
coming.
yeah.
Are we just
It was
facing
such a lovely day.
one enemy so far as we can tell?
Yeah, one enemy so far. And so now with that, we're going to do what we call is rolling initiative.
Oh, yeah.
And so this is a thing in
D20.
which, again, D&D, this is how we decide when combat's going to happen.
Roll 20.
Ben, do you have a D20?
I do.
Okay.
I'm rolling.
And
Here we
Lexi,
go.
I'll roll for you.
Thank you.
I'm doing a scout's promise not to lie. I am no Travis McElroy. I will not fudge my dice.
Yeah. I was in Scouts, so it's valid.
I was not. That's why I did the hand symbol wrong. I did like the German 3.
Thank you.
That one's for Lex. Okay, I'm rolling my D20.
All
I
right.
got a 12 plus 1, so 13.
Great. So, Lexi, you rolled a 20, which means you're actually the first one to move in combat.
God.
And Mucho. And then the Scarecrow. Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
Okay. That is the eternal worry of all players when the DM says, oh, wow. I'm like, oh, no.
I'm getting the impression Jay's going for a TPK.
TPK.
Total party kill.
So the combat's going to go in the order of Lexi, Ben, me as Mucho, and then the Scarecrow. While you guys were bent over the mound of dirt as you're investigating these bodies, you've been attacked by an ensorcelled animated scarecrow that's like behaving in a kind of stop motion animation creepy way. And it just has taken 2 vicious swipes at both of you. Folka, what's next for you?
Well, she's very badly hurt here. Half her life is gone. So I feel like we need to do some defensive moves here. So is there some type of potion available?
Let me see here. I did check in your equipment. There isn't I didn't give you a potion yet because that's actually at a first level. That's not actually often something that they'll have with them immediately. But Mucho would be able to help you.
Okay. So
Mucho is like as a cleric can cast healing spells.
Excellent. Were this a Final Fantasy game, I'd be moving her back a bit, hiding behind the cat.
Into the back row.
Moving to the back row for some defensive stance here.
Okay. One thing maybe I might offer is that you also do have a crossbow.
Oh.
I did also, maybe I'll say this to the audience. I set up a character sheet for you and gave you like basic equipment, basic rogue equipment.
Excellent.
So you can totally move back to get next to Mucho. And you guys have been in combat before, so he already knows what you're that you're looking for some help. But you can move and take 1 attack if you want to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Folka-like.
Great.
Now, quick question. Is there fire anywhere about?
There is not. But you do actually have a tinderbox in your equipment. It'll take you a little while to get it out. Like it's not. Okay. You can't just like pop it out.
Okay. Could I potentially move back in the defensive stance and try to get the tinderbox out? Because we want to send a flaming arrow in that bitch's direction.
You can totally do that. Now that'll take up your turn. It's
happening.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. But we're doing it. Boom. Come on, Folka.
So yeah, you pull off your backpack, and then just like you're throwing things out, trying to get to the Okay.
Going to town.
All right.
Yep. Very accurate. Except if this were real life, I'd be looking for my keys.
They would have already been in your hand. You would have had keys between your knuckles in that parking lot Wolverine that women do.
Yeah, the scared girl walk.
You're going to punch them and they're going to get punched with the keys.
Uh,
So Ben, what's Chark doing?
Chark. Okay, so is Chark engaged? Like, am I so close at this point? If a hit just swung over my head that Chark, moving is going to be a problem for Chark.
Yes, yeah, you are actually, and this is something I should have thought of, is that when you moved away, Lexi, I should have actually even thought about this, that there's a disengage action. Technically, you probably should have had to do that, which would have meant you'd have to do the tinderbox in your next turn. But I'll just own that mistake, and you'll still get your tinderbox out next turn. But yeah,
okay.
But yeah, so Ben, if you wanted to retreat, you'd need to disengage.
Perfect.
I don't think that Chark had any sort of weapons or anything out. Chark was just sort of womping about, not on their game. So Chark is actually just going to do like an unarmed strike on the Scarecrow and sort of try to grab it and headbutt into the thing.
All right. And I've got a copy of your sheet here. I think you actually get a +6 to hit on that because you're so strong.
Oh, wow. Nice. Really?
Yeah.
From my strength, or is there some sort of bonus to unarmed attack?
Could be both, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to remember how to attack with unarmed here. It's been a while for me. Unarmed strike is, you're right. It is a +6 to hit. Okay. So it's just D20 plus whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Here we go. Rolling. Oops. I'm using D&D Beyond for the first time, so it's a little bit wompy for me. I just wanted to test it out to see if I could ever do a campaign this way. Oh, God. Somehow still just a 10.
So that was so as in you rolled
10 to hit.
You rolled a 10, but then +6?
No, sorry, 10 with the 6.
Oh, I see.
I rolled a 4 plus 6, so let's hope this Scarecrow has no armor.
Oh, Chark.
You know, it's so lanky isn't really the right word, but it's like because there's no body to it, there's no flesh to it or anything like that. It's like more like you're trying to grab parts of it that end up just being like
straw
bits of cloth.
Away.
Yeah, and straw. So you come away with some handfuls of straw, but you haven't really done it any damage.
Okay, I will try to move then as well. After Chark tries to grab the Scarecrow and it doesn't work, they step back. So I don't remember how disengage works, but I will try to do that.
Yeah, I think
because that's considered movement, right? Not action.
It is. Yeah,
or is it an action?
I think it's an action. Like I think you can.
Okay, I forgot. It's been a long time.
It's like you can generally do two things in combat, which is you can move and attack.
Yeah, like action, bonus action. Yeah. I think disengage usually does count as an action, but whatever you want to do, I'm fine with it.
Like, how do I put this? Because you already attacked, if you're disengaging, then you are like essentially going, what I'll allow you to do is you'll be able to move, but move on your next turn. So you could have.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I should be able to disengage. I think I made my choice to attack, and it would be weird narratively if then they disengage this turn. So I'll save it. I'm just there.
Yeah. You just you
keep
tried,
it simple.
Didn't work. One thing I will say, if you want, is you could pull out a weapon.
Yeah, sure. After missing with the hands, Chark is going to whip out the old, as I scroll over to find what it's in my inventory, the old, let me just vamp here for a second, everyone's favorite weapon, the rapier.
All right. I'm just also doing some quick Googling to make sure I've got the stats.
Good, because I don't think I do.
Great. This is also one of the wonderful things about doing D&D online is that it's saved the time that we would often spend flipping through books to find stats. But okay, so yeah, so just in your surprise at being attacked, you do this reaching grab at the Scarecrow. Nothing comes of it, and then so now that you've had a chance to collect yourself a bit, you do pull out your rapier and you're holding it at the ready to attack. Mucho is his tail is extra fuzzy now with all of this action, but he knows exactly why Folka has come and stood next to him, and so he'll cast Cure Wounds, and he holds on to his holy symbol of the cat-headed war god that he worships, and as he prays, it glows with silver light. And let's see how many hit points you get back. You get back. There we go. So you get like 8 hit points back. You only lost 5, so you're back up to full.
Perfect.
Yeah. You feel there's a deep cut in your side, kind of like it feels weird and tickles as it sews itself back up.
Thanks, Mucho.
And that's Mucho's action. That's all we can do.
Oh, that Mucho. The morn of our campaign.
The scarecrow is now just facing down at Ben, and it just lets out this wordless, like, attack sound. And
comprehend languages.
Pardon me?
Oh,
just kidding. I said comprehend languages, but I was just kidding.
All you understand is that it hates you.
Oh, no. Like so many.
And so I got to find Ben's armor class.
11.
Okay, that one just passes. Like it's like you just as you pull your rapier, like you just step back far enough for it to pass in front of you. The first claw.
Oof. Dodging, weaving.
But then the next one. So I rolled a 4. Yeah, it attacks twice.
Oh no, 2.
Rolls at a 17, so that is a hit.
Oh no.
And let's
FML.
see here what.
Oh.
Okay. Let's see here.
Don't kill me.
What does this nasty wooden claw do to poor Chark?
I want to die.
That is 7 points of damage.
Oh my god. So Chark is down to 2 points of damage.
That is there's a serious hurt on Chark there.
Oof.
Then let's see here. No, okay, those are I'm only going to let it do those 2 things. It's there's something else I'm going to maybe let it try to do next turn if it survives. Okay, Folka, your next turn. You've got the tinderbox. You're digging and you're able to pull it out. What are you going to do with the tinderbox?
Can I use the tinderbox to light an arrow on fire?
You can, but the only thing here is that you won't. It's going to be a whole nother. You will be able to fire it next turn.
Gotcha.
So everybody's got to stay alive long enough for your plan to work.
We're going for it. Yeah, Folka, we're going for it. Go big or go home.
I love it. Yeah. Folka remembers the fields that we raised as our army was retreating during the war, and you remember that straw, the natural enemy of straw, is flame.
Is flame, and so she deadpannedly, is that the word, yells, "Hold on, Chalk," and begins to strike the matches.
Really? Right now?
Just a second.
I've also established some more world lore. I just hope everyone noticed. Our army did not win, and we did scorched earth as we retreated.
Yeah.
Destroying land.
Are we the baddies?
We might have skulls on our uniforms.
Oh no!
We'll find out. Maybe we're deserters. That would be even more interesting.
Oh, I like that.
That's actually Let's put a pin in that. I prefer to leave world building for outside of combat.
Yeah, we'll see how it turns out. This reminds me of that time when we were running away.
Chalk, no.
So Folka has pulled out the tinderbox, and I'm actually seeing this tinderbox not like a match striking thing, but almost like those things where you actually can sometimes like pull it out, and then there's a little flame in there, like it's meant to start like a campfire kind of thing.
Ooh.
So it's kind of got like a hot coal in it or something, and it
medieval fantasy lighter.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you're grabbing straw, you're wrapping it around one of your arrows, that kind of thing. So you're trying to get that done as quickly as possible as you're cowering behind Mucho. Mucho pulls out his mace, and then just starts looks at the scarecrow and just although it's not even Mucho's turn yet, that hiss was just in character. Chark, what's going to be your next action here?
Realizing the sort of seriousness of the attack that they've just suffered. There's sort of a large claw mark across the front of their puffy pirate shirt and vest. They are going to cast Thunderclap.
Okay.
Which is one of the spells, which I don't believe was on my character sheet. Sorry about that,
That's
Jay.
okay.
I forgot to pick them in the character builder.
Is it Thunderclap or Thunderwave?
Thunderclap. So this is actually a cantrip. An at-will cantrip. Casting time 1 action, range 5 feet. I believe we're close enough. And component is just sound. So I guess I go clap, clap.
Clap on.
Yeah. And it's a Constitution 12 save.
Okay. Let's see. And what is your Ben? Do you know what your? So this is a thing when somebody casts a magic spell and there's a saving throw, the victim or the recipient of the spell, when it rolls their saving throw, they're rolling it against the ability of the wizard. So Ben, do you know what your wizard spell
casting modifier?
Yeah.
I believe it's charisma.
Not
saving throws. Charisma. Oh, that's for me. Sorry, wrong side of things.
It's more like, okay. So this is your spell save difficulty, essentially. So this is what I have to roll higher than to beat your spell. And I'm on the sheet you showed me. It's a 12.
Yeah, Constitution 12. I don't know where the modifier is, if anywhere on this.
It's on page 4, near the top, and it's called Spell Save DC or difficulty.
Oh, there it is. I missed it. I was scrolled down too far. Yeah, you're right.
There you go.
12. It is.
Okay. So yeah, the scarecrow has no constitution to speak of. It's a scarecrow. He didn't roll very well. What's your? Go ahead and roll your damage for that.
Okay.
I think it's a 1d6.
Let's go. Yes.
Oh.
And then I add my spell attack modifier?
Yes. Not for damage. No, because that's just to see if it would hit. And this hits everything.
Oh, my bad.
Because of the saving throw, or because of the Constitution saving throw. But Lexi and Mucho are going to also have to roll for this.
Oh, I thought they were behind me.
They are, but the sound goes in all directions.
Yeah, I understand now how sound works. Chark does not, but I do. I understand. That was Chark in character. Oh, I thought they were behind me.
Chark is about to get a lesson.
Hey, if you haven't played D&D for a while, maybe read the full spell before you cast it. So what I've just done is created a burst of thunderous sound that can be heard up to 100 feet away. Each creature within range, which is 5 feet. So they are within 5 feet of me?
Yep.
Okay. Must succeed a Constitution saving throw or take 1d6 thunder damage. I think I was looking for Thunderwave and I got the wrong one.
Thanks, Chark.
Okay, so Lexi, I just rolled for Folka, and I rolled a 3. So, so you didn't you've got a bonus there, but you didn't pass that Constitution saving throw. So you're going to take the damage. And Mucho, let's see here. Mucho also didn't pass the difficulty roll. So,
well, the bright side is it was 2.
The damage was 2.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Ben goes like that, makes a clapping sound, and from just his hands, this
Chark does that. Ben knows better.
Not Ben. Chark does this clapping sound. This enormous boom just shakes everybody. So everybody gets a little hurt by that. Everybody gets a little bit of a zap from that. Lexi, your ears are ringing. Or Folka, sorry, your ears are ringing. Mucho is like kind of doing like his eyes are wide and his ears have gone backwards, like when they get really nervous. But the scarecrow also is like hit by that. Like there's bits of straw fly off of it, and it actually pushes it back a few feet. So that's a good action there, Ben. Mucho is now going to step up. He's going to, considering how badly you're hurt, Ben, he's going to cast a second spell of the day because he can only cast twice a day, and he's going to heal you as well. And that is...
Chark also yells out, "Sorry, wrong spell."
Again, holding his holy symbol in front of him and praying very loudly to his thunder war god. He gives you another 5 points of health back.
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
So yeah, you feel yourself get better. And then Mucho stands in front of, so he touches you on the shoulder and then he stands in front of both of you. Mucho's the most armored out of all of you. He's wearing like a scale armor shell. And so he's now in front. And then the Scarecrow, seeing the situation and being hit by this magic, decides to stare down Mucho from having who's now stepped in front of him, and gives him like this weird sort of evil eye. It's weird, like it's almost, the eyes are like just hollows inside the carven out face of the Scarecrow. Yeah. So there's no eyes in there, but still somehow you can get this sense of intensity and focus and staring that's aimed right at Mucho. And Mucho has to see if whether or not he's been frightened by that. And Mucho is frozen. You see that, like, he just those ears of his are just like stuck back there. His eyes are wide. He's like, so he's been frozen with fear. The Scarecrow then takes steps past him and takes another swing at Chark. And let's see if he hits.
Oh no! This Scarecrow is very fast.
That is, I think, what is it? 19 to hit. So that's...
Ouch.
All right, Chark. Let's see if you survive this. 4, 6, 7 points of damage.
I'm down. Chark folds like a chair and hits the ground.
Are you at 0? Like, did you? Is that right at 0?
Yeah.
Okay.
All the way down.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
So Chark just crumples.
So Folka, you've got a burning arrow ready to go. Your Mucho is frozen with fear, and Chark is in terrible, terrible pain. What do you want to do?
Fire the arrow while screaming for Nacho. Mucho.
Nacho's the pet name you have for Mucho. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are real close friends, clearly.
For burritos everywhere.
Great. Okay, well, I'm going to roll your dice for you here. You really, at some point, should get some dice just for the thrill of rolling them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
This isn't. I'm not dice shaming you, but
if you get D&D Beyond, even the free version, it has a great dice rolling tool in there, and you can actually just click on things like your weapon, etc., to do attacks with all of your bonuses attached to them. It's super simple. It's really cool. This isn't an ad for D&D Beyond. I wish it was.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we'll take it.
We're open to sponsorship, whatever.
Okay, so I'm going to roll your attack here. All right. So this burning arrow is in your crossbow, ready to go, and that is a 12, which is just what you need to hit.
Yes.
It's like,
yes.
Whoa, how fortunate.
You were so shaky, like with the nerves of the situation, like how tense this whole thing is. But you line up just perfect and pull the trigger, and the flaming arrow flies into the Scarecrow. Let's see here what that'll do for damage.
Into the belly.
So normally I think an arrow is like, I'm not exactly sure what the damage dice is for that, but I'm going to roll 2d6 instead of, I think, normally like 1d6. And I'm going to add a few more numbers for the fire. Okay, I rolled 2 6s, so that's a 12. And then I'm adding another 5 for the fire.
Yes.
So
this is called DM is ending the session.
No.
I'm just teasing.
Well, I mean,
oh, you actually did like
a million
you did
points.
a million points of damage from that really clever move.
No, because I what I am doing though is I am actually like rewarding ingenuity. Like you asked to do something that isn't really like a game mechanic.
It's cool,
but it's cool.
It was a really clever idea.
The beautiful thing about D&D is that all the game mechanics are meant to let you try anything. So I'm just trying to like I am rewarding that, but I'm not trying to speed through anything because the Scarecrow is by no means dead. It is on fire. And that like it's hissing. It's so mad right now.
Uh-oh.
That is really hard on my throat. So we're just going to imagine the Scarecrow from now on. But that is that's pretty creepy too.
Yeah, gonna go stand upstairs in the hallway and see who I can wake up doing that later.
Yeah, do that outside of your small son's room.
No, just my wife's.
Don't.
And you found a way to work it in.
One per episode, yeah.
This is 2.
So what did I say there? There was 12 and then another 5. So 17. So it's looking fairly hurt, but it's not down. The Scarecrow is still still up. Ben, can you roll a d20 because you now have to do what we call a death saving throw.
My death saves. This is one of the most exciting parts of the game. So just for Lexi and anyone who hasn't played before, if you hit 0, you're not dead. You're like sort of unconscious, knocked down, and then you do death saves. So you have to roll, what is it, above 10, Jay?
Yeah.
On a d20? 10 and up is a success, and I guess 1 to 10 is a success, and 11 to, I don't know.
Yeah, 10 or higher is a success, and a 20 is two successes.
Okay, and if you need to accumulate 3 either saves or 3 fails, and if you have 3 fails, your character is done. That's it. Hand your character sheet to the DM. It goes into the paper shredder, or they wave a magnet in front of it if it's on your phone. And that's it for that character. All right, here we go. Wish me luck. That is a 20.
Yay!
Nat 20. I will show it to the camera just so everyone knows I am not lying. There's the total down.
Woo!
Oh, so that's 2 saves.
So you're almost back up. You're almost ready to go.
Cool. Another way that you can get back up is if somebody heals you.
Mm-hmm.
And that counts as you don't need the saves anymore.
Wow. The Mucho is still frozen with fear. He's just just sitting there, eyes super wide. Like, you know how cats sometimes get when they're looking incredibly afraid at nothing at all?
Yeah. Like their own reflection in a dark window.
Yeah, this is kind of what Mucho's doing right now. Like, Mucho's so frozen. The Scarecrow's moved past him. Mucho's still frozen, just staring in the same direction.
Does Mucho get a save, or is that it for Mucho?
Mucho's stuck until the next turn, so he'll be.
Oh, awful! Yeah. Not a save.
But then the Scarecrow it's on fire. It's really pissed off. It moves to you, Lexi, to Folka, who's got this crossbow that you just fired. It's upset about that. Let's see if it can get you.
It's nice, because if they hit me while I'm down, that counts as like an instant.
Okay, so that one missed, and that one is what is it, plus? That misses as well. I think it's kind of distracted from the fire.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Burning can do that.
Exactly. It's got. Oh, and actually, I'm going to roll another d6 for fire damage because it's ongoing fire damage.
Suck it, Scarecrow.
Yeah, try not to be made out of straw.
Yeah, bird much?
Oh man, that's another sick burn.
Oh.
Hey, he's getting roasted.
Some like it hot. Just felt left out.
Have you been going on Tinder lately?
Fire it up.
Before we work our way through all the possible one-liners.
It's getting hot in here.
Oh, no. Folka, save us from this. What are you going to do?
Okay.
He's just, it has taken 2 swings at you. And
how much life does this thing have left in it?
It's looking pretty hurt. It's pretty hurt now. It's like there's now the wood or the fire is starting to get to like the wood underskeleton of the scarecrow. Yeah.
Is it possible to use the crossbow to like bash it in the face?
Yeah, I could let you do that.
Okay. All right. I want to like just bash it as hard as possible. Folka's trying to crack its little wood skeleton inside of it by just hitting it as hard as she can, bearing in mind the dice rolls.
Okay.
While saying some sweet one-liners.
Of the many that we brainstormed earlier.
Crack on.
Of the many, yeah. Stick around. I don't know.
Stick around. I like that.
Stick around is better. Except you don't really want this burning thing to stick around.
Yeah. That's not a good one. Oh, Folka. She's very distracted.
I'm trying to branch out.
The worst part is the follow-up.
Okay, all right. I'm going to roll this dice for you here. This is the bludgeoning of the
bludgeoning of the scarecrow.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Okay, that's a with a +4. That's 19. So that's a strong, solid hit.
Yes.
I'm gonna make up some damage here for the crossbow. I'm also going to say if you use the crossbow this way, you won't be able to use it as a crossbow for the rest of this combat. Basically, like you'll have damaged it enough that it won't be good as a crossbow until you fix it.
Yep.
Okay.
We're doing it. This is life or death. I'm
rolling a D8 here. Let's see. And that's a 7. And I think with your strength, you get you get a +2 for damage on that. So that's 9. And so with this really strong hit, you actually snap some parts off of your crossbow, but just like I'm thinking like a baseball, you wind up and wham. And between the fire weakening it and the damage it already sustained, you crack it apart.
Yes.
Scarecrow pieces everywhere. Your
character's just standing there swirling their giant sword around.
Yeah.
Great. Well, so congratulations. Ben, we're out of combat, so Chark is don't have to roll again.
Sure.
You're stabilized.
I am alive.
Mucho shakes it off. Like it's like the thing where like sometimes a cat is just like
singing Taylor Swift.
Take it off, meow, meow, meow.
Oh my God.
Never thought I'd hear Ben do a cat cover of Taylor Swift.
I would do an entire cat album of Taylor Swift covers if somebody would just pay me.
Hear that, everybody?
Pay me to do
Get those sweet Patreon dollars flowing in for...
You want this? We don't even have a Patreon. But, set one up for us and start sending us money for great content like this.
Okay, so you're out of combat. The scarecrow is down out for the count, and the bodies are still in half buried in the dirt. Is there anything that you guys want to do other than like obviously stabilize Chark, but anything you want to do around that kind of the situation?
Assuming that we're just sort of like speeding past the ouch and the heal. Boy, is there any way to find out who ensorcelled something?
There's you could look more closely at the scarecrow. You could try to see if you could see anything.
I'll start there. I'll be like,
okay,
somebody.
Give me a like an Arcana check or like some kind of like investigation check. Whatever you're best at here.
What is Arcana? Wisdom?
No.
Oh, okay.
Intelligence.
None of these are great, so I'll roll them. That's fine. I think it's funnier that way. So Chark is just sort of like, one hand on their chest, holding what used to be a bloody wound, and the other hand sort of sifting through. And we will roll a check here. Wait, hold on. Sorry. Do. So that is an 11 minus 2, a 9. Chark ain't bright.
So you can, as you like look at the scarecrow pieces, you can tell that it has been assembled maybe more recently. Like, so it's one of those things where like if you didn't know to look, you couldn't have been able to tell this, but you can see that there's been like a silver string that's used to tie. So it was used to tie some of the wood pieces together, like the kind of
the branches are green.
Like there's what do you call it? Like the spell ingredients are more clear now that you can kind of get a closer look at it. But yeah, you don't notice any like identifying marks or anything like that. Folka, is there anything that you want to investigate or check out?
I want to look at the bodies a little bit more of the messengers to see if there's anything on their person that would indicate any other information about who might have done this, because we have a guess that it's probably the witch.
Well, there's only one wizard on this here mountain.
Magical personage.
Yeah.
But want to have a good body of evidence. It's like Law and Order with Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Dun dun.
Let's get this done.
Oh, it's good.
Where was I going to go there? Okay, yeah. So you're investigating the bodies. Actually, let me just see what your rogue has. Actually, your rogue has a really good investigation. So you've got a +5 for investigation. I kind of was thinking again, like if you're an army veteran, you've maybe got like you're like really good scouting skills, and you'd have to like figure things out while you're out in the woods, and so. Oh, great! That's like a 23. So, yeah, you nailed that. So in terms of checking through the bodies, you find another one of the scrolls that's the same as the one that Chark found. That from the town saying, please come, to what's her name, Frederica. Please come, do some magic for us, that kind of thing. But what you also find is that Frederica's name has been like scratched out almost violently.
Oh.
And a glyph is written over over top of the whole page, like somebody's almost like somebody's vandalized the page.
Ooh.
And let me see here.
Can Chark use comprehend language on it, or would that work? It's one of the spells Chark has.
Yeah, it's trickier because Chark isn't a wizard, but is comprehend languages like a bard thing?
I'm not sure what class it's from specifically, but it is for the duration. You understand the literal meaning of any spoken language that you hear. You also understand any written language that you see, but you must be touching the surface on which the words are written. It takes about 1 minute.
Oh, this is a spell.
It's a spell cast thing.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, great. Well then, yeah. Okay. Done.
Oh, you know what it says right here? The spell doesn't decode secret messages in a text or a glyph, such as an arcane sigil, that isn't part of a written language.
Right.
So I guess it wouldn't work.
So, the thing is, like when I say it's a glyph, I mean it's like it's a symbol, but it is not a magical symbol the way the spell means.
Oh, cool.
It's,
okay.
What the spell is basically saying is that you can't use it to determine a secret glyph that's meant to do a magic thing.
Gotcha.
But this isn't that. This is more like somebody's signature or like a coat of arms kind of thing. And so I'm gonna say the spell actually does work for that.
Cool. Who do we got here? Chark says.
So what you discover when you touch this is that this is the glyph of Hosadas, who is another mage who lives in the deep south, and is a among the many wars. I think I know you guys were saying that perhaps you were on the bad side, but there was a few bad sides,
or the losing side at the very least.
At the very least, yeah, there was a few bad sides, and Hosadas was part of some of the worst.
Sorry, how do you spell Tostadas?
Hosadas. Hosadus.
DUS. Thank you. Ho salad.
And and so that he was one of the worst. So that the glyph is like kind of his signature, and as a wizard, he's known for actually animating things. He's known for golems and automatons and things like that.
Is that something we'd know with our experience in the war? Would we know that?
That's kind of world lore. That's like
okay.
Like in fact, your unit would have been sometimes fighting against creatures that Hosadas would have animated.
So Chark turns to look at the camera and puts on his sunglasses and said, "It looks like there's a new man on the mountain."
Oh.
Fade to credits. I think that is a pretty great place to wrap this one up. Maybe before I did the thing.
No, I think that was great.
It's still a good pausing spot. I don't want poor Jason to be here forever. This is supposed to be relatively quick. We didn't even do Who's That Pokemon? Because this is
it's Chark.
Well,
it's
I guess we sort of played Who's That Pokemon, and it was Hosadas. We discussed it through our investigations.
I don't choose you, Hosadas.
No.
As soon as you said that, I was like, what would be some other good David Caruso puns to go with this? Like, well, I guess that was a straw man fallacy.
You would never say something that would require, that would, remove at least 2/3 of the audience from understanding it.
Oh.
Like even the man of the mountain thing, they'd be like, man, mountain, I get. But a straw man fallacy, they'd be like, I don't understand that. Why is that funny? What I'm saying is people that watch criminal whatever, CSI, are not very bright. And I stand by that. Call me out. Come for me.
Come at me. So how was that? Did you guys enjoy the investigation?
Yeah, I want to keep I definitely see it. I want to go on with it too and keep
awesome
building the character and figure out what the hell's going on. It's great.
I'm really glad to hear that, because that's the thing that that's what makes this so much fun. Isn't just what am I going to do, but what do I get to do next?
Yeah. Well, even the world building and wanting to explore did we desert? Were we left behind because we nearly got our asses handed to us there, and so did the bad army leave us because they thought that we weren't good, and so now we're seeking revenge? I have so many questions.
Yeah, did we just bail because our side lost and there was nothing left to stick around for, and so we did the only thing we could that was left, which was go and find some work.
What I also think is great, I'm a big fan of the fact that this kind of emerged, that we didn't kind of all come to the table thinking, okay, we want to make characters that are like this, because to me, I think both we and each other get more attached when it is fully generated at the table, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's part of something we're all making.
Yeah.
A sense of ownership over everything.
We didn't know they were going to be a throuple until we rolled for it. We didn't know what the characters were even going to be. I think, and now we've got these army veterans who were maybe on the losing side, who might be on the run, who've done this investigative thing, and now there's a rival mage. There's so many interesting places this story can go, and I'd be totally game to tell another story with you guys.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, let's look for part 2 as a Patreon exclusive in the future. If you like what you heard and you want to hear more, please sign up for our non-existent Patreon. And this would be a great place to do it, though. We could do a side thing, like on the Patreon at some point. If people were interested, that would be a really fun thing to do.
Yeah, we could add like the art that we create for the characters. And...
character art is so much fun to do for D&D. That's one of the best things as an artist.
Like, let's just say, let's just keep doing this occasionally, like every couple of weeks or like every month or so, like do a session and if it gets popular, maybe we do more of it or longer episodes of it or something. Or
I think the less popular it is, the more we do.
Also true.
just to punish people.
As long as we enjoy it, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
And people will get on board.
Podcasting. That's pod racing. No, that's pod racing.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed our first ever Dork Matters, Dorkgeons and Dragons actual play episode. Jay, before we let you go, where can people find you? Where do you want them to find you?
I was going to say Twitter, but like, will that still exist? JasonMehmel.com is probably the easiest place to find me. I'm on generally most of the social medias in those places. And if you're in Calgary, I run a theater company called Sage Theater, and we do pretty cool things every few months or so.
You have a big festival you mentioned that you guys are working on that's coming up, right?
Yeah, well, not too soon. It's coming up in June, but
whoops, I jumped the gun. Sorry, Jay.
But I'm working on it right now, so it's pretty still present in mind. And it's an emerging artist festival, so you'll see all kinds of like really new stuff. Like last year, we recorded the first episode of a sci-fi podcast there. And we did like
should we name drop it?
The Stargazer Initiative.
Cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's what's going on with me.
Awesome. Well, for all of us here at Dork Matters, I've been Ben Rankle. Jason Mehmel joined us this time, and Lexi Hunt is always here. We just leave her on. She's on the screen. If you walk by the computer, there she is.
On red.
Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time. Dork, 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 dork.
Dork, dork.
Thanks for listening to Dork Matters. If you like the podcast, subscribe, give us a rating, and tell your friends about us.
If you are a fellow dork and have a dork issue that you think we need to discuss, tell us on our social media. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. You can also check out original art and other content from Ben and myself.
We'd like to say a big thank you to Yabra for the use of our theme song, Dance, off of their Astral EP, as well as a thank you to Jess Schmidt for producing and editing our podcast. Thanks, Jess.
Dork Matters.
This podcast is created on the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Nations, which includes the Siksika, the Bagaini, and the Gaina. We also acknowledge the Stoney Nakoda Nation, Sutena, and Métis Nation Region 3.